Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another reaction video for today. I don't know why I decided this is the review I want to watch. I don't know of any other ones, to be fair. But this is Black Myth Wukong PC review from IGN. Just saw this pop up in my in my what do you call it again? The bell. The notifications. There you go. I was about to say the word. I'm like, is that right? It's right. It's a that's definitely right. Just say it, Gore. Anyway, so yeah. If you do not know, I didn't really know this until recently. There was a controversy with the Black Myth Wukong developers. I knew about that controversy. I knew about that, but supposedly it's not exactly right. Like there was some mistranslations or something. I have no idea. But the controversy is also now on IGN, because IGN, I think, was the ones that were like, there was something going on there where they were like trying to, besides asking about the game or something, they were only asking about like, or a lot of their questions were related to just like some stuff that happened with the studio or whatever. I'm just watching this review to see more gameplay, really. I mean, I want to hear what the reviewer has to say, sure, but really, I want to see more gameplay. That's why we're watching this, because you're going to see more gameplay. So let's get to it, shall we? Let's just watch it. Whatever, 4K, definitely. So let's go through. It's 14 minutes long, so they got a lot to say, at least. So, and this is also the PC one, obviously, PC review. So, yeah, so let's go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Hey y'all, Mitchell Saltzman here.
That's right, you go start your review. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. You go review a fucking tractor? What the fuck? Hold on, let me turn this. Alright, let's go.
Viewer of Black Myth Wukong, and just a quick note about this review. As part of the embargo agreement set for this game, I am unable to show you footage beyond Chapter 2, which presents a bit of a problem because a lot of the technical issues that I have with this game that I specifically call out in this review occurred after Chapter 2, so I'm unable to actually show them. So we're going to do 2 different video reviews.
I'm not complaining about the mic audio. I'm not, because my mic audio is not great. Obviously, I don't even wear headphones when I watch these videos. That's mainly because I don't give a shit. But also, I don't like wearing headphones if I don't have to. I just don't. Sorry, man. I know that's probably a detriment to everybody else, but the audio still sounds fine enough where you can hear. But whatever. But for IGN, that's you have 18 million subscribers. That's the I don't know. I just bought myself a brand new Rode microphone, which is supposed to be like really, really good. So I don't know. The audio, the microphone audio, like when I'm talking like this, it sounds better than that guy. That guy's, what was his name? I just said Mitchell. Sounds better than his mic. No offense to Mitchell. I'm just saying, like if like Mitchell needs to buy his own microphone, that's kind of fucked up. IGN should be giving him like high quality equipment. You know. Anyway.
Reviews this time. This first one will abide by the restrictions and only.
But to be fair, the audio quality, I think it might just be he's too close to his microphone. If I know.
No footage from the first 2 chapters, but we will also be posting a more complete review with the relevant footage added in on launch day.
Okay.
And with that, on with the review for Black Myth Wukong.
I could see through his little thing there. It's clipping through. 0 out of 10.
I've never been so utterly blown away, yet simultaneously so unbelievably frustrated by a game as I have been with Black Myth Wukong.
Sounds like a typical IGN feeling, considering, you know. Have you seen some of their gameplay?
One of the most ambitious and impressive action games I've played.
This game might be good.
It's stunningly gorgeous. Its combat
Mitchell
is fantastic.
might be really good at game. Oh yeah, I want that power pole.
It's incredibly challenging, but always satisfying to overcome. And the setting is refreshingly unique and steeped in rich Chinese culture.
Yes. This guy. I might want to play this in English just because I know there's gonna be a lot of things I missed.
It often feels like it's barely holding it all together. I suffered numerous crashes, despite having a top-of-the-line setup with the GeForce RTX 4090. Not to mention the multiple times I've...
Marshes don't allow us to show any footage of this. It's after Chapter 2. Okay, it seems like they just don't want to spoil what happens in Chapter 2, not to hide the our shit is bad.
Fell through the ground and died in the final phase of a boss fight. Or the way characters would randomly switch from English to Chinese, or the way the dialogue audio would just drop out altogether and leave me completely in the dark during an important cutscene. I
mean, to be fair, those are issues if those actually happened, which I'm going to just assume they did.
A rickety roller coaster for sure, and there were definitely spots during the ride where I was not having a great time. but taken as a whole, this is one adventure where the bumps are worth it.
I don't understand. I don't understand what our monkey boy was doing there. Ah, you're gonna eat me? Maybe he likes to be vored on. Monkey magic. All right, immediately I'm gonna guess an 8 out of 10.
Black Myth Wukong's
because it's very easy to predict the score of an IGN video, even in the first like 2 minutes. Because it sounds like you really like the game, but there was technical issues. I don't know if there was any other issues. But I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. They don't do decimal points anymore either. They used to do 0.7s and 0.2s. Of course, you have the classic Pokemon Too Much Water 7.8. Now they don't even do 0.5s. They're just limiting themselves even more and more. I don't know.
Somewhat of a follow-up to the classic novel Journey to the West by Wu Chenggen. A book that I only personally know thanks to very loose adaptations like Dragon Ball and Enslaved Odyssey to the West.
Enslaved.
That surface
one of my favorite video games ever.
Familiarity didn't help much though, as the interpretation that the developers at Game Science have crafted here is laden with references to characters and events from the novel, without doing a great job of bringing you up to speed on who Sun Wukong is or what he encountered on his titular journey. I had to look online to understand who Zhu Bajie was, what his history with Wukong is, and what the significance of certain encounters were.
I'm just gonna let the story, like... I'm not gonna understand any of it, but I'm just gonna let it, like, happen. I'm just gonna be like... Alright.
Otherwise, I'd have been completely lost at times. You play as the Destined One, a literal monkey who wakes up one morning and decides to set out on a roughly 40-hour journey to locate the 6 relics of Wukong. While the moment-to-moment storytelling is fairly unremarkable, largely due to a mute protagonist and side characters that aren't given enough screen time to develop, each of the 6 self-contained chapters culminates with a stunningly gorgeous animated vignette that tells a short story about that chapter's main antagonist.
Like, really? Anime?
Each one is done in a completely different art style, with one drawn to look like a storybook, another using stop-motion animation, and another done in the style of an anime. Every single one of them is beautiful and poignant, and I couldn't help but wish that the main story managed to move me in similar ways.
That sounds awesome. Apes of Wrath. I get it. It's a great.
My initial read on Wukong was that it was a Souls-like, given the checkpoint system, the stamina bar that governs your actions in combat.
That's what I kind of assumed, but then they kept saying it's not, so I'm like, okay.
And the dodge-heavy fighting style. But as it turns out, Wukong has more in common with traditional action games, like what you might expect from Bayonetta developer Platinum Games.
That sounds so much better.
It does with
no offense to Souls-likes, but I'm getting sick of them. So we don't have too many of those type of fighting games now, or action games now. So we have way more Souls-likes than Bayonetta or Devil May Cry style. That sounds better.
Anything that From Software has made. Most of the usual Souls-like conventions are missing. There's no penalty for death outside of respawning at the nearest checkpoint. You don't use shared currency to level up your stats and purchase items or upgrades.
I like that
and while there is gear and stats to consider, you largely just go and swap out the old equipment with the new, as opposed to making choices as to what kind of weapon or piece of armor you want to hold on to an upgrade.
Sounds good to me.
Even though I am a big fan of Souls-likes, ditching those mechanics feels like the right move for the game that Wukong is trying to be.
Yeah.
It's far more forgiving, focused on keeping you in the action rather than poring over menus or retracing your steps to regain your lost currency after dying.
Oh, this game looks so much fun. Like, if there is actually like 80-something bosses, that's insane. That's what I keep hearing. It's like, it might as well just be a boss rush mode.
And Wukong is a better, more distinctive game for it. To be clear though, when I say it's more forgiving, I don't mean that it's any less difficult than a From-style game. In fact, I'd go so far...
It's just more forgiving because it gives you... It doesn't take away stuff when you die and stuff.
As to say that between this and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, I had more difficulty getting through Wukong's toughest challenges.
Yeah.
But at the same time, those challenges
that ass.
never felt unfair, and overcoming some of the tougher boss fights was always a satisfying combination of learning their attack patterns, figuring out where I could maximize
you fight so many distinct-looking bosses in this game. It's crazy.
Punishment windows, and tweaking my loadout in ways that made the best use of my chosen powers.
Gotcha, bitch. It's like, oh, you mean my dick! Kung Fu
Combat
fighting.
in Black Myth Wukong is simple and elegant, thanks in part to some tools that are really fun to play around with. Success hinges on a delicate balance of Twitch reflex-style gameplay mixed with careful resource management that largely revolves around a focus meter, which builds up when you land hits and perfectly dodge enemy attacks.
I remember them talking about this. Nah, bitch. I love that little after image.
Whenever that meter fills up, which you can then spend in the middle of a light attack combo for a varied combo, or you can just use a heavy attack on its own for a powerful strike that can be charged even further if 2, 3, or even 4 focus points are consumed all at once.
Yep, I remember that.
You also have access to a small handful of spells, governed by a mana meter, that are versatile enough to be useful in a wide array of situations. The Immobilize spell, for instance, freezes enemies for a short time, allowing you to get in some quick hits and potentially stagger them to allow for even more free damage.
So there are plenty of, like, smaller enemies in this game. I feel like every time I watch gameplay, there's, like, a little bit here and there, but for the most part, it's just bosses.
Cloud Step turns you invisible and creates
a lot of just basic enemies you're fighting.
Decoy for your enemies to focus on while you break away, heal up, and then hit your foe with a surprise attack that can crit. Rock Solid briefly turns you into a statue that will cause an enemy's attack to bounce right off of you, giving you an opportunity for a counter.
I love a good, like, perfectly timed counter or parry or whatever you want to call it.
Ring of Fire creates a barrier around you that will initially repel enemies and grant you some health restoration, along with enhancing any stat-altering drinks that you may use while standing inside of it. And finally, there's...
Sick. So there's a lot of strategy in this game.
My personal favorite, a Pluck of Many.
Yeah, a Pluck of Many.
You can make multiple clones of yourself to all gang up on an enemy at once.
Isn't that scene in The Boys where they're beating the shit out of Stormfront? Fuck you.
Separate from that, you've also got transformations, which allow you to morph into powerful creatures that you've already bested in battle.
Yeah, I love that. It's like Pokemon.
What's really cool about these is that they don't cost any mana, they're tied to a very lengthy cooldown instead, and they turn you into a totally different character, complete with an all-new moveset,
how many of them are there?
That use their own focus meter, and more. For example, one of the...
I hope they say how many you can collect throughout.
First bosses that you fight...
I really want to know that.
Is a wolf with a fiery dual blade that has a lightning-fast dash attack.
That's the first one you fight?
When you
this guy?
Him,
oh, okay.
You'll gain his transformation and be able to do that very same dash attack to your enemies. And once you build up its focus meter, you'll even be able to do a hugely powerful leaping strike.
This is the first guy you fight?
And deal damage over time to them. And then finally there are spirit skills, which are earned by defeating certain more powerful versions of enemies and absorbing their essence into your gourd. These are effectively transformations that only last for one attack and are also tied to a fairly lengthy cooldown, but it's great to be able to, for example, use the Wandering Wight's powerful headbutt attack to get an extra
That's
stagger
really cool.
after immobilizing an enemy.
Sick. Wait, I want to look at that actually. Wait, I just want to see. Hold on, let me see if I can get. I just want to see the. Hold on, come on, give me what I want. Okay, so you got Soul Remigration Pill, okay, Enhanced Tiger Subduing Pellets, okay, Lung Aura Amplification Pellets, okay, Longevity Decoction. Okay, so this is the things. Okay, so you got Cloud Step, Immobilize, Umbral, Abyss, Pluck of Many, there's a Pluck of Many. Okay. So you can have 4 at a time, and I'm assuming you can swap them out whenever you go to like a shrine or something.
Extra stagger after immobilizing an enemy. These spirit skills can also be leveled up, which makes it so that even the early game spirits never lose their strength as the campaign rolls on. It's an excellent blend of options, especially when mixed with some truly incredible. It
really, considering the leveling up system's not like a Souls-like game where you can like you know grind a little bit and then get souls and then it's nice to see that there's still a way for you to get more powerful without just relying on like armor or just your own skill getting better,
And Wukong introduces all these elements at a thoughtfully measured pace, so I never felt overwhelmed. Make no mistake, the Destined One is extremely powerful.
Ooh, baby!
Being in control of him is definitely a heck of a power trip. Even beyond the many powers and abilities he has at his disposal, nothing beats the feeling of just slamming a 50-foot bow staff down onto an enemy's head. But I still had to be smart with how I used my spells, due to the fact that mana restoration is actually very difficult. This is where the resource management aspect of combat comes into play. I had to carefully consider what spells were actually worth the mana cost, whether I should save them for a more difficult second phase of a fight, and whether or not I could capitalize on the opportunity if I were to spend the mana in the first place. For instance, even though it's my most powerful spell, I often had to hold off on casting my Pluck of Many spell that duplicates my character since it has an extremely high mana cost.
I figured it would have a really high one. Dude, you're like taking no damage on this motherfucker.
Simply wipe out all my clones with an AoE attack before they even got a chance to get some damage in.
Oh, he takes a lot of damage on you, bro.
Sometimes the adjustment I had to make when I was stuck on a boss was a simple change in how I used my abilities, and the act of coming up with a new strategy and having it pay off was always extremely satisfying.
Yes.
While boss battles are where Wukong is at its best, there's also a highly respectable amount of enemy variety in its regular fights. Level design is of the wide...
Wait, so you're still collecting, like, will... I'm assuming that's like souls, and that it's not like souls, I guess, because if you die, you don't lose them. But that's like skill points, I guess.
Your variety.
See, like, is that a leveling up thing on the top right?
Usually with a clear main path that leads from checkpoint to checkpoint, but plenty of opportunities to venture off that path to discover optional goodies.
Okay.
The rewards for exploration are great too. I've found rare crafting materials to make new weapons.
I was expecting it to be like open world or anything, so that's nice.
And armor, special enemies that drop a new spirit skill, curio items that I could equip to enhance my build, and treasure chests that might permanently increase my max health, mana, or stamina, all of which made the time that I took to find them well spent. On top of that, there are also several secret boss fights to discover. Key items with mysterious uses that I still haven't figured out, and plenty of more reasons to stray from the beaten path and keep an eye constantly scanning the environment. The main one being that Wukong is one of the most gorgeous games I've ever played.
Fucking gorgeous,
every environment is brimming with detail, from the chipped pieces of bark on the trees in the forest to the real-time deformation of the snow as the destined one moves
yeah, that's good looking snow. Ooh, Red Dead Redemption's got some... Red Dead Redemption 2 has some competition. I guess God of War also has some good snow also.
While dragging his staff along.
God of War 2.
Not only that, but the animation is impeccable too, with wonderful touches and flourishes, like the way your character will do a little hop step when locked onto an enemy, then change to strafing around them as opposed to just running straight on while keeping their head turned.
That's a good.
The music and sound design
that's a good.
Is fantastic.
That's some good. So where I'm looking for animation.
As well, epic drum thumping battle themes.
Yeah, the music is sick in this game, from what I've heard so far. It's so good.
And melodic flutes and chimes adding to the air of wonder and mystery as you explore the unknown.
Anytime I see a desert, I think of Nier, so.
All that said, this game really would have benefited from a map, plain and simple. The lands you explore in Wukong are beautiful, no doubt, but they're far too big and too crammed with secrets to not give you some sort of navigational help, especially the second and third chapters. This...
Okay, I mean...
Along with the fact that it's aggravating...
I do find it annoying when I'm lost in games, so...
Aggravatingly hard to tell what obstacles can actually be climbed over and what's an invisible wall can make exploration quite cumbersome.
Okay, I get you.
It's a good thing that the rewards are worth it.
Okay. Okay, so that sounds kind of annoying.
However, it's hard not to feel like all of Wukong's splendor and detail came at a great cost. I experienced numerous crashes, with one particular...
Boy, how do you speak?
...breaker happening right after defeating an extremely tough boss that I then had to defeat again. Several others were more minor and would typically happen as I was loading up a new chapter or fast traveling to another level, but they eventually add up to a lot of frustration. In addition to that, several times during important cutscenes, all dialogue, audio, and subtitles would drop out completely, leaving me without any clue as to what was being talked about and no way to read.
No offense to PC people. I hope this is only a PC problem. I definitely don't, because I'm terrible at games like this. So I don't want to have to be like, oh, finally I'm about to beat a game. Crash. Fuck! I don't want that.
Watch the cutscene. Characters would occasionally switch to speaking Chinese all of a sudden.
I'm guessing an 8, because I'm assuming if these glitches weren't either that much of a problem or even were non-existent, then it sounds like a 9 to me. But I'm guessing 8.
Despite me having the audio set to English, the lip flaps of the English dub often don't even remotely match what's being spoken.
That's not surprising.
Finally then, the 3 bells sang.
Yeah.
And most of the journal entries
I don't know about that English stuff.
you find along the way haven't even been localized yet into English.
Oh,
the worst, though, was
really? Let me see.
entries you find.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck? That's weird. What the hell? Why is so many of them not localized? Like, it'd be, like, I would understand if, like, one or two. That's so many. What the fuck?
Along the way haven't even been localized yet into English. The worst, though, was one particular fight in which the boss would plunge me down through the ground during the transition to its final phase, only to have me fall through the world once I regained control of my character. This kept on happening to the point where I thought my game was unavoidably bugged and I wouldn't be able to reach the end. But my insanity of trying the same thing over and over again eventually yielded a different result for no discernible reason. These are the kinds of technical problems that Game Science will hopefully look to address in post-launch patches. And it's not outside the realm of possibility, as even Cyberpunk 2077 was eventually whipped into shape after its own buggy launch. I
love how people say that, like, as if, like, Cyberpunk wasn't, like, a big game. You know what I mean? Like, of course they're gonna. If they didn't, their entire company would be, like, I don't know, like, completely destroy your own name there. Like, by saying, oh, it's fucked up and everybody expected a good game. Fuck you. Next game. Like, what? Wow.
That those fixes come swiftly, because while I still wholeheartedly think that the things that Black Myth Wukong does so right are worth dealing with those problems, I would love to be able to recommend it without those caveats.
So hopefully the PlayStation 5 version is great. I mean, to be fair, the game's not out yet, so they could patch this stuff before it even happens. So that's why reviews are important. So you can say what you will about IGN, but, like, them addressing this is a good thing. Because it could benefit us in a few days if they can fix it that quick. Probably not, but, you know.
As Game Science's debut
it sounds pretty bad.
action game, Black Myth Wukong
I love, like, knocking an arrow away.
Is mostly a great success.
Fuck you.
Despite
Look at slowly walking towards him.
major technical black marks and localization issues that are likely to cause some frustrations at launch.
The motherfucker was powering up. He's like, shit.
Combat is fantastic, thanks to a great balance of careful resource management and lightning-fast twitch reaction gameplay that tested my skills as much as Elden Ring ever has, despite it being a more traditional action game than From Software style. Not only that, but there are a ton of exciting boss battles, a great variety of enemies, and the world they inhabit is an absolute treat for the eyes.
I'm about to say you can still get hit up there. It would make sense if you couldn't.
But relies a bit too much on having prior knowledge of the events of Journey to the West.
I want to see what that was on the left, on the right.
Its story has
that thing on the right.
Its moment. But relies a bit too much on having prior knowledge of the events of Journey to the West, and it really could have used a map to make.
There's gonna be a lot of people that play this game that know about the Journey to the West story, so I don't think that's a huge detriment to some people, but yeah, I could see it being annoying.
Exploration measure up to the strength of the combat.
Yeah, the map thing is the only thing I'm really worried about. Like, I feel like the PS5 version will probably not have as many bugs, because at this point, like, every time there's a PC release, it seems like the PC version of a game that's also on consoles is, like, fucking just wrecked. You know what I mean? Optimized very poorly, which doesn't sound like this one's, like, frame rate or anything of that is bad. It's just there's so many glitches and stuff, it seems like. More so than
its strengths more than carry it through, making Black Myth Wukong a great action game that could be even greater if Game Science can squash the bugs.
Okay, so if they squash those bugs, squash them real good, 9 out of 10, I'm thinking. From them, at least.
For more Black Myth Wukong, make sure...
I don't know why that... Why did that make that in? Him just walking into the... Right at the all this awesome gameplay they show, right then it's just him walking into a wall.
Minutes of the game, along with our guides for things it doesn't tell you and skills to get first. And for everything else, keep it here on IGN.
I can't believe the game's out. Or it's coming out. Alright, that was a good review, though, for the most part. Like, I know a lot of people are going to give a shit just because it's IGN and also because of what happened, but I'm sure this guy had nothing to do with that, so... You have to remember, IGN is so many different people. There's so many different people in IGN. So not all of them are going to be like, we got to bring down everybody. If I hear even a slight hint of sexism and it's just a rumor, or if I mistranslate something or whatever, fuck them. They're going down. No, not everybody's like that. I'm not going to immediately assume that. Just because you work at IGN doesn't mean you're always a scumbag or whatever. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are scumbags at IGN. But to be fair, there's probably plenty of people that are scumbags at almost every company. So... Anyway, that's it. Black Myth Wukong PC review from IGN. So there you go. it's coming out, and it looks fucking really good. I hope the PS5 version's fine. I'm gonna do our first reviews also. Anyway, that's it. Bye.